Hey, Joel, can you tell us how it was playing with the mask and if there was any frustration or restriction, and also what happened the two times you had to change masks?
It was annoying, but that was the only way I could play in this game. Is if I was gonna wear the mask and protect my face with goggles. So I had to walk through it, and I did. We got a pretty good win, and for the change of mask, it was just about I think justice. Stepped on it and tried to break it with his hands, man. But little do that knows that I have about 50 of them, so it's gonna take much more than that to get me out of this series, and it's gonna be a nightmare for them too.
Joel, what went into the decision for you to be able to play, and what was your reaction when you were cleared?
I mean, I've been. I think my teammates. Since I went down, my teammates kind of did a great job of just holding down and winning every games. So I didn't feel like I had a lot of pressure. And then after that second game, I was told no that I wasn't gonna play. So I was frustrated. I hate sitting out. I hate playing, and I felt like, man, I felt like it was a time to come back, especially after watching how physical the game was, that game too. And I felt like I love this moment. I love being physical. I love attacking. I love contact. So I felt like they needed me in that way. And I kind of we had a conversation, and I'm glad they let me play.
Two questions, Joel. One, what did it mean to play in your first playoff game? And then two, Brett said he really thought that you handled the last couple of weeks professionally. How did you just kind of like stick with it the last 3 weeks not being able to play?
It sucks, especially when I think the whole regular season I was healthy until that freak accident happened, and he happened. I'm glad it's nothing else. He's just a bump or whatever. So I was glad it was just that, and it was just. But I was happy that I was healthy the whole regular season, and then for that to happen too, I kind of felt like I hate sitting out, and I wanted to be on the court, but stuff happens, and you just gotta keep walking, and like you said, stay professional, and work with everybody, and that's what we did, and we came up with a lot of solutions about surgery, about the mask that I was gonna wear, and everything's working out pretty well. But we can't be satisfied. We got a big one on Saturday.
Playing your first playoff game, everything you've been through to be in your first playoff game, what did that mean?
Meant a lot because I've been here on the team. I'm the oldest on the team, and I feel like I've been here. Went through everything. The year we only won 10 games. It was really disappointing. So I feel like we went through a lot, and to be able to be in this position, I'm really happy about. I'm really happy for Coach. Finally has a team, and he's coaching us well. He deserves a lot of credit, and feel like he should be the coach of the year too. So, but I was excited. Worked really hard for it. Promised the city that, and made it happen. And I was kind of sad that I couldn't play in that first game at home, because that's we have a special connection. But I'm glad came back today, and we got a win.
You talk a little bit more about the matchup with Justice. You got that revenge block on him in the game. Can you talk about the energy you were feeling right there?
It felt great. I didn't when he blocked me. I didn't really see him. Good for him. So, but at the other end, I'm glad I got him back and kind of shut him up a little bit, because he was talking big time when he did block me, and you don't really want to talk trash to me. So, I'm glad I got him back.
Joe, leading up to this game, What did you have to do to get used to wearing the mask? Did you have to wear it around a certain amount of time, or how did you get acclimated with it on your face?
I don't know. It was difficult, but to me, it was more about. It wasn't really about getting used to it because at the end of the day, no matter how much it bothers me, still got to be a basketball player. And if the shots aren't falling and it gets foggy or I can't see, there's a lot of different stuff I can do, especially defensively. Because I feel like I'm the best defensive player in the league. So there's a lot of stuff I can do, play with my teammates, find them, because I feel like I attract a lot of attention and, just finding my teammates and that's all I can do.
A couple days ago, you put there was one Instagram post where you had you guys playing against this team against the Heat, and then there was playing against Boston, and then there was playing against the Cavs. There was one against the Warriors. Was that like a prediction or something, or is that like the path? What was that about?
Oh, I don't know. It was just the only pictures that I had in my phone, so I just had to go with them.
Joe, 2 questions. How long are you going to have to wear the mask? And secondly, can you talk about that 7-0 run that you had in the fourth quarter to kind of put the game away?
I think, I'm not sure how long I got to wear it, but until it's fully healed, and I think it takes about 8 weeks. I'm going to have to wear it, and so I'm going to have to do it with it and, just keep playing basketball. And yeah, I think that's how long I got to work. And then, what's the second question again?
Second question was they pulled within 7 points, and then you scored the next 7 to kind of put the game away a little bit.
Justin was kind of hyping me up on the bench, and he was talking about me. I'm one of the best players in the league, and that I got to take over. And that I gotta, bring back the win, and I like that, and I felt like it was time to go to work. I was lucky that the shots were falling, the threes, and on the defensive end, I think I got a block too, and especially it was I thought it was some tough shots, especially the one that I banked, and I could see in their faces that when you kind of make that type of shots, the guys on the other end, they just go like, ugh. And that's good. Now, when you see that in their faces, that's good because you got to come right back at them, and just because that guys hate that, then come right back at them and do the same thing, and that's what we did. And my teammates did a good job of finding me.
I know you're just getting in this series, but Game 2 ended with Goran shooting a layup late in the game, and then Dario went for a layup late in tonight's game. Is there anything to that? Is there anything extra there?
Man, I wish I was there in that game too, because I was kind of pissed about it. It happened earlier in the year, and Dario got a lot out of it. Cleveland, they were all mad, and I wish I was in that game. To also act like that, because it kind of pissed me off, and I was on the sideline, really mad. And I told him, when we had a chance, I was like, if we have a chance, go do the same thing. And I saw Ben was pushing, and we were trying to score. Man, we don't care. I feel like, and I saw Goran didn't get a lot of shit about it. But I was actually surprised because Dario did when it happened to him. So, it's basketball. So he's always good to blow a team out. And, if it was, I think we were up 18 or 20. And if you could get that lead up to 22, I think it's good. So I love blowing teams out. And I like the fact that we did that. And, we're not here to make fun. We're here to win a series.
Funny you say that, Joel, because this game felt really old school. The physicality. Was the difference for you guys that you just hit shots?
I think we shot the ball pretty well, but at the same time, we play so well together. We set screens and get guys open, and that led to that. But to me, I thrive into that kind of stuff. I love physicality. That's when I want to attack and be physical and get to the line, because I felt like I had an advantage every time I went right at them, and I think I was at the free throw line. So game 4, they're going to try to do what they did in game 2, come out and be really, really extra aggressive and trying to punch us in the mouth. So we got to be ready for that, and I'll for sure be ready.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Justice, you guys were right there going into the 4th, and then you weren't there. What happened, and how did they turn the game in that fashion?
Obviously, they hit shots. Our offense got kind of stagnant, but I think the biggest thing is we mentally we lost that focus and that intensity for 2-3 minutes, and once the shots started going in, we started to become disconnected. I think that was a big part of that 4th quarter.
Justice, on that play where you stepped on Embiid's mask early in the game, were there any words exchanged during that?
No, he kept throwing it on the ground, so I don't know if he didn't like it or what. But I was talking to JoJo. We're smack talking, trash talking, going back and forth, but no love lost.
Justice, I thought you guys really out-physical them in game 2, and they kind of punched back tonight. How did that bother you guys, or did it bother you guys at all?
I think we did a good job up until that 4th quarter. I mean, we don't want to be in shootouts with this team, so we got to find ways to be more physical and, control their shooters and their scoring. But I think for 3 quarters we did a good job. I don't think they were, more physical than us. I think it was just that 2-3 minute span where they opened the game up and we just became disconnected. But I don't think they were, punched us or, were more physical than us.
How does this matchup change between you guys when Embiid is back in the mix?
It's different. He's a focal point, of their offense, and he caused a lot of mismatches. But at the same time, Ben is still doing what he's doing. He's still causing problems, finding shooters, running transition. But it's definitely a different look when you have, an all-star, back in the lineup. It changes things for sure.
Is there something going on with layups late in these games? Because Goran had one, and then Sarge went for one.
Yeah, we scored a layup at the end of the last game. They were trying to play defense. We really weren't. We were just, containing the ball tonight. We weren't trying to trap or get the ball out of anybody's hand. They went for a layup. So it is what it is. I mean, we see it. No, I mean, I think they felt disrespected by Gorans, and we weren't going to just let them do that, so.
I know ultimately for you, Justice, it's always about the result, but that first half, the season you've had shooting threes, improving that side of it, how much fun were you having there in that back and forth?
It was amazing. I mean, I live for these moments, these big games, a big stage, but I was just trying to do, whatever it took to win, and we fell up short, so 3 months, 4 months from now, I'll look back and, it'll be a great memory, a great moment, but, I mean, the bigger picture, we didn't win tonight, so, I mean, and I'd rather have the 2-point dub rather than the whatever else. So it's tough, man. It's tough when you're playing that well and you guys still can't. We still can't pull it out, but it is what it is. We got to find a way.
Brett, I guess the first question is about Joel's performance.
I mean, I am just so proud of what he did on the court, the professionalism he showed as this was all playing out in regards to the end of the regular season and him trying to do whatever he could to return to play. And, take the real situation of not only was he injured and not playing basketball, now you got to come back in on the road and play a playoff game with a mask. And it's not like there's a clear, vision line out of the mask. It has a, protective lens in there as well. And, for him to come back under those terms in that situation and produce the results that he produced and help lead us to a road playoff win, I'm very, very proud of him.
I think at one point earlier this season, closing out fourth quarters was a big thing that you guys were working on. Can you kind of walk us through how you saw things came together and what that says about the growth of the team now to do that on the road and close a game out like that?
I mean, we've always tried to, base our program and base our mind and our mindset on defense. And I thought that in the first half, both teams were scoring pretty easily. You felt like the physicality of the game, but it really didn't translate into the scoreboard when you look at, both teams had in the mid-60s at the end of the first half. And I thought that we fouled too much in that first half. The game was physical, but I thought in general our defense, and especially our fourth quarter defense, to hold that team at home to 14 points to close out the game, to your point, I go straight to our defense.
Brett, can you also talk about how your team responded to the physical play?
I mean, I give so much credit to the Miami Heat in regards to their culture. I respect their culture, and I certainly respect their history. And, they played away in Philadelphia in Game 2, and they continue to play that way here in Miami. And I was proud of our team where we accepted the physicality in a way that I felt was technically fundamental. I thought we created leads well. I thought that we were strong with the ball. I thought that they didn't completely bend us over like they did in Philadelphia to end up with 12 turnovers only and still find a way to have 28 assists. And I think that 5 guys had 4 assists or more. Those are massive numbers and to me, statement numbers against a very physical Miami Heat team. And so you asked the question about how do we respond. We did a pretty good job. We did better than we did in Philadelphia, and we're going to need to continue to improve handling their pressure.
Brett, I know your young core guys, this is their first go-around in an NBA playoff scenario, but do you feel like Dario's experience internationally and in other high-level competitions has helped him thrive in this environment?
I definitely do, and we've spoken a little bit about this in Philadelphia. I know I coached in FIBA basketball for 17 years, and I know the environment that he has played in FIBA basketball. The EuroLeague is high-level basketball. Playing in the Olympic Games is high-level basketball. Playing in the European Championships, high-level basketball. World Championships, high-level basketball. He's been groomed since he was 14 to play basketball. He's from a basketball family. He has played, not on our shores as much as I just said internationally, and all those experiences have added up. And to him pretty much handling this moment. Like, he's not fazed by the moment. And I thought tonight there was a toughness, there was a skill package. You could see the passion that he had just with his facial expressions and his body language coming off the floor. I thought he was fantastic tonight.
Brett, to that end, I know you guys were really excited when you got Marco a couple months ago. When you got him, I'm sure you envisioned certain things, but did you envision that he would become this much of a key and be this good for you?
I did not. And I've known of Marco Bellinelli for a long time. And as I've said in many press conferences, his last 3 coaches are my friends, and so I feel like, scouting him and watching him and then, downloading my friends who coached him, you had a pretty good snapshot of who he was. But he has exceeded in many, many ways the expectation that I had for Marco coming in. He's really grown to be an integral part of our fabric. Like, he's a great teammate. He's accepted defensive criticism and us like biting him on defense and letting him have a freedom offensively. And he really tonight, I thought was excellent. And for that, I decided to ride him out, and have him finish the game because of his performance.
Thanks, Brett. Oh, sorry. What did you think about Justin Anderson's defense on Dwayne Wade and kind of the spark that he gave you guys there?
And go to TJ also. I decided to go with TJ as a backup in the second half. We decided to go with Justin right from the get-go and insert him into, the rotation. And I think that both of those guys, to your point, injected just a passion, an energy, an enthusiasm, a toughness, a pace. Both of them, I feel, had TJ in less minutes, Justin in more minutes. But they really had, I think, an impact on the game. Those two guys came in and really helped us find a little bit more of an edge, and I think had a result in the win that we just left.
How much of an adjustment did Joel have to make with the mask early on, and are you guys going to have to tweak anything on that going forward?
I really don't know. I haven't spoken to Joe and asked him how did it feel, all that stuff. He will be able to express himself well. I mean, I can only imagine, the restriction he probably felt wearing the mask, then plus the lens. You could see the energy in the game. I think Justice came over and tried to crush one of the masks. Fortunately we had a mask in the bullpen. We could bring that back out. But yeah, I'm sure he can explain it better. I just know I can only guess that would be a frustrating situation for him.
What do you think about that situation with Justice?
You know what? It's part of the game. It's good for the game. It's the playoffs. Justice is good people. He's highly competitive, and it's just part of the game. That's the NBA playoffs, and you could see the spirit in which both teams played. It really never left any other word than physical. It was physical for the whole game. And that example that we're talking about with Justice probably is as good an example of just the mindset everybody had tonight.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Eric, close, right into the fourth quarter. What turned? What happened in that fourth quarter?
Well, they hit some big shots. Some threes, and then we weren't able to execute versus some of their pressure on pick and rolls. It kind of flattened us out. Went through a little bit of a drought, and they just kept on scoring, either via a three-pointer or foul trouble, or getting to the free throw line. And that's the thing. It was right there, but you have to be able to complete it for 48 minutes. That's what's going to be required against this team. And they went on a big run, and it just got away from us.
Was there something particular in that run, though, that at that point that you guys didn't do schematically or anything that allowed them to do it? Was it fatigue? Was it them wearing you down?
I don't think it's wearing us down. It's more they executed with purpose, and they really got the looks that they wanted, and then they made the looks. It's not a guarantee on that, but it seems as if every time that we had a little bit of a hesitation or made somewhat of a mistake defensively, they made us pay for it. We have to find a way. I mean, this team, obviously, they have a lot of shooting. They have guys that can score in the paint, but that is the challenge. We're capable of it. We just have to figure it out and complete it for a 48-minute game.
We've asked you the last couple of days how things might change with Joel Embiid back. How were they actually different with his return?
Yeah, obviously when the game speeds up, he can slow it down. He has a way of drawing fouls, and it's not just in the post. So a lot of his fouls drawn are on the perimeter, on shot fakes and drives, and he knows how to to draw them. So we'll have to do things with great technique, great focus, great discipline. We are capable of it. And we expected him to be in the series at some point. So that's the challenge for us.
For as much as attention as he gets, obviously, and what Ben's done and what Reddick's done at times this year, how big has Bellinelli been, not just tonight, but in these 3 games for them, and really since they got him?
Yeah, every time we had them it seemed like we had them at the end of the clock. Last 5 or 6 seconds, in some of their big possessions, Bellinelli had the ball in his hands and took advantage of that. 2 or 3 of them were 3 or 4 steps behind the line with a couple seconds left, or at the buzzer on the clock. And he's in a great rhythm right now. So if it's 2 or 3 steps behind the line, and that's what's required, then we have to do it all the way through. Finish the possessions and do it without fouling.
Eric, I don't want to simplify it, but both losses, 18 3-pointers for them.
Yeah.
And the win 7. Was it something different they did getting those shooters open, or how do you sort of explain that?
A little bit of both. A lot of it was similar to the first game. Some of it was off the dribble at the end of the clock. Some of it we just didn't get them off the line. They have a team of very good 3-point shooters, and it's going to require more. It's as simple as that. To get our defense all the way extended, past the 3-point line and get uncomfortable doing that. We are capable of doing that. We didn't do it tonight, and they made us pay virtually every time we were short on a closeout or, not defending a pick and roll at the point of the pick without it getting downhill to break our defense down. It's clear that the first game and the third game were played on their terms. We do not want this to be a crawl. That's not how we play either, but we certainly don't want this thing heading toward the 130s. That's definitely their wheelhouse, and we paid the price for that.
Eric, it's the 3rd straight game that Hassan just hasn't had any rhythm, and tonight just the 1 attempt, and I think it was right after the turnover too, that pass in the 4th. Are there ways to get him on track, or do you have to think about something different as far as the lineup?
Well, he might not necessarily, put up numbers, but that's part of my job is to figure it out and figure out how he can get to his strengths and be an impact player for us. It starts with the defense, the rebounding, but he has a lot of responsibilities for us offensively. I'll spend some time, working that out in the next day and a half.
Were you surprised by their physicality? Game 2, you guys pushed them around. They seem to push back tonight.
Well, they're a well-coached team. You know that there's going to be a sense of urgency. I wouldn't say that we didn't have a sense of urgency tonight. It was pretty physical both ways. I would say we probably made more mistakes throughout the course of the game, and we paid the price for that. Okay, thank you.